Hi, folks. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been able to get an opportunity to do one of these videos, and there's a reason for that. We've been fidgeting with some of the technology, trying to improve the picture quality and the sound quality and all that goes along with it. And actually, it ties into what I was thinking about and what I was hoping to share with you today. Of course, we're all aware of all of the changes that have confronted us as a society over these last few months with the pandemic that has spread around the world and the massive effects that it's had on our lives. And we've moved into what people keep talking about now as the new reality. And when I think about that term, and I think about how it affects us as individuals, how it affects us as institutions, how it affects us, in a business aspect, economically, the whole works. It's a complicated and a confusing term. I've been reflecting more so on the religious aspect of it, the worship aspect, the church aspect, the fellowship aspect. And we're stepping into uncharted territories. And I keep pulling up all of these phrases that, seem to be, cliche-ish. But there really is no other way to describe it. We met as a council, our church council met a couple of weeks ago to talk about, how things were going to operate under, the new regulations when we were finally going to be able to open. And here in Newfoundland, we've reached what they called level 2, and we're allowed to have gatherings of up to 50 people. And some discussion was held then whether or not we were going to move ahead and open the churches right away. But you have to keep into consideration the cleaning requirements that are necessary, the physical distancing requirements that are going to have to take place, the sanitization stations that we're going to need with hand wash and have masks available for people if they want to come to worship. You're going to be able to come, but you're not going to be able to sing at the present time because singing projects the voice farther, which creates aerosol droplets that travel longer and hang higher in the air, and it's mind-boggling. And just for the sake of information, if you're curious, we have no plans to open here at Wesley, and I don't think any of the United Churches or most of the other denominations do in St. John's, at least until September. But getting back to that notion of the new reality, I was out in the sanctuary doing the measuring with regards to physical spacing, and in a part of our church, an area of our church where we could normally seat perhaps 100, 125 people. If we have individuals who come who do not share the same bubble, we can accommodate 17 in that same spot right now. Now, if you have a couple that are, in the same household, you'll be able to, a bit closer seating, and we might manage 20 or 30. We're going to have to put people up in the balcony. We're going to, to even accommodate the 50 people in our sanctuary, which would normally hold about 800. It's still a tight squeeze at times. And then you have to look at the possibility or the requirements of cleaning everything afterwards. If you have someone, doing a reading, well, you've got to clean the lectern, you've got to clean the microphone. And it's just overwhelming at times. You're trying to figure out what it is that we're going to do, how it is we're going to maintain, and part of the realization is that we're now moving into almost like a digital church. I know that here we've been broadcasting 2 services every Sunday. We do live. We go live from the sanctuary at 11 o'clock Newfoundland time. We go live at the sanctuary at 7 o'clock Newfoundland time. And we have people who are tuning in on VOWR radio, people who are listening on digital TV, people who are watching on YouTube, people who are watching on Facebook Live. And I often wonder if that's what's going to happen in the future. And how do we address that? Do we become a digital church? And I've thought about those possibilities. For those of you who are listening in, and your churches aren't opening, and you've enjoyed worshiping with us, if you want to become a digital member of Wesley, you could send an email to me, bmercer@wesleychurch.ca. And we'll keep you updated on when services are going to be broadcast, or if there's any special services that are going to take place, or if we do up a newsletter, that kind of a thing. But I think a lot of churches are going to be looking at the same, that same reality. The prophet Isaiah, when God spoke through the prophet, he said, "Behold, I'm doing a new thing." And I think God is speaking to us now, saying, we're moved into a new reality. This is a whole new world. And there I go with the cliches again. But it really is. And it's frightening and it's confusing. But the promise that we have is that just as God spoke to the people through the prophet and through the prophets and through Christ, we have that promise that as we move forward, God walks with us, and we're not facing these situations alone. But we all have to be very mindful. We have to be very prayerful of where we're going, and we need to seek God's guidance. We need to seek God's wisdom as we step forward in faith. Part of me has really enjoyed this video aspect of the ministry, and to be able to to make these short clips, and I'll be doing another one again, I think a little later on, geared more towards our Hearts and Hands children again. I've enjoyed that, but at the same time, there's nothing that compares to personal fellowship. And I am looking forward to the time when the churches will be able to open again, and when I look out over the congregation, there will actually be a congregation. These past few weeks, as the regulations have sort of slipped a little bit, we've been fortunate. We've been able to have soloists come in. We've been able to have readers come in. And as much as I've enjoyed having company in church, one of the responses has been, from the reader or from the soloist, how nice it is to be actually back in the church again. What are we doing? Where do we go? How is all of this working? Hopefully, things will ease a little bit more. We'll be able to get together a little bit more often. But until that time comes, we are faced with this new reality. And let us just know that as we step forward, our God is walking with us. I thank you for joining with me, listening to me ramble on. I thank you for being a part of the worship services that I'm privileged to share in, and I hope that you continue to be a part of the Wesley Church family, whether it's in body, whether it's in spirit, or whether it's in cyberspace. Just thank you. Please stay safe, and of course, God bless.